Well, this was a study that involved 440 people and across ages, and it also had 11 focus groups, so they went into it in depth. And what it found was that 90% of people believed that ageism existed in Australia, and a significant number of them believed that they had experienced ageism and that it was detrimental in Australia. So I think people have thought that ageism was really about older people, but really what this report's found that every age group has experienced ageism in different forms.
Yeah, and why did the commission, why did you commission the report? What were you trying to get to the bottom of?
Well, what I'm trying to look at is what do Australians think about ageism, and does it affect all age groups? We haven't had any research like this before. And if it does affect all age groups, in what way does it affect age groups? So that was the aim of the report, and it's actually shown up some things and some further areas for research, but it's really a very important study, and the World Health Organization has been asking people to look at ageism across the lifespan, and I think this is one of the first ones been done in Australia anyway.
Does it impact all age groups? What does ageism look like?
Well, the groups, when they were asked, said, well, the young people are more likely to be excluded or talked down to at work, or, for example, not getting rent. One person said, oh, my father came and helped me because I had an idea, a business idea, and people didn't take me seriously. Once my father came and put that older face on it, it took off. So young people are seen as not having the capacity to be a leader, not having the capacity to be a manager, and older people are seen as needing more help than they really need. So, oh, mum, we'll help you with your finances, or you can't really live in this big house. And so people begin to lose their autonomy. So it affects different age groups in different ways.
Have things worsened or improved since last year?
We don't know, because this was just started when COVID came on.
So do we have any idea with any historical, do we have an ability to make any comparison points?
I don't know that we have, Patricia, but one of the things that's been interesting is you see in the press and you see people believe that the generations were at war with each other, but that's not. We find some tensions, but generally 70% of people talked favourably about the other generations, that there's much warmth and there's much more cohesion between the generations than we would believe from reading in the newspapers. We got the groups, before they went into the focus groups, to actually go searching themselves in newspapers, and they said, look, we're all presented at our age negatively. And I think we've got a whole lot of media. Everybody's got a responsibility to pay to get rid of ageism, because it affects the self-esteem of young people, their vision for what they want to do and be, and it affects older people, it affects middle-aged people in the sense that they seem too old to be employable. So one of the things we can do is actually have lots of intergenerational programs, because all the evidence showed in this research that those people who said they'd mixed with people outside their own age group had a much more positive attitude towards that age group. So it shows that when you get to know these people, it's like, I don't like X, but my next door neighbours are not like that. Some generations were even a bit hard on themselves, like millennials do this, but I'm not like those millennials. So they even are sometimes ageist about their own generation.
Yeah, I've noticed that about millennials too, actually. It's because they've been so criticised that they're always kind of telling you that they're not like the other millennials. Yeah.
Oh, well, don't be ageist, because older people sometimes say, oh, they're quite frail and difficult, but I'm not like that. I've done my exercise and I'm strong. So I think all of us are prone to it, but I think the most important thing is to be aware of ageism and to actually call it out when we see it.
And of course, we've been talking about ageism for so long. We know ageism is a problem. How do we actually deal with it other than trying not to be ageist? How do we actually institute systems and programs to try and turn around some of these behaviours?
Well, I think in different circumstances, in the workforce, for example, pointing out the benefits of a multi-generational workforce, what a younger person can learn from an older person, what an older person can learn from a younger person, and how putting them together in teams helps. And, for example, I've been talking to some companies that are now, instead of putting two women sharing a job at the same age, they put an older person and a younger person together because they want holidays at different times. They said it works like magic. It's fantastic. So I think looking at the benefits of not being ageist, but also exposing us all to other generations, because I think once we get to know somebody from other generations, we begin to see the issues that confront them. And that's what this data shows. They're very understanding about that it was tougher for older people. It's not all, oh, you're leaving the country, the place in a worse state. 70% of our respondents said that the older generation weren't leaving the world in a worse place. And I think that contradicts what we see in the media, for example.